Welcome back. We're here to do the Divine Masculine update. Now, this is an interesting read, and it's kind of funny. And I think for those of you that are in communication, I do coach those in communication, those in reunion, those in separation. And channeled energies do relate to all, okay? It's just it's going to come through in a different way. So I do tend to try and explain them in each way I'm seeing it. But definitely, I can see a bit of a conundrum that this individual is going through this week. This could be due to the post eclipse energy. Now, we do have a person here, really, when it does come to love, they're trying to have a changed attitude. Okay, this person is trying, they are so trying. And I can totally relate to this. As a feminine, once burnt, twice shy, trying to have a positive attitude. Look, if this is a person that is currently dealing with a karmic, I do feel they're seeing patterns and habits. I do feel they're almost in that stage of breaking point, but definitely knowing what part theirs is, but what part others are. So that is one way this also can be playing out. Separately, I do feel, especially where it does relate to you, they're reflecting. Okay, look at the water, it's rippling out. It is impacting different areas of their life, not just the connection between you and them. And they're trying to actually get into their Zen space. They do realize these habits. They don't mean to be this way, but they're really thinking about it. This is something that they really want to change. Overall energy. It's very up and down. I mean, literally, we will get into the close up. Now, intuition. In the past, what really kept them safe at times was definitely not having to think too much. This was keeping it simple. This now has not always worked. It did work for a while, but then when we do have to interact with other individuals, maybe having relationships, etc., connections, co-workers, we do need to use this. They do know, like, that has ideally empathy has been something that has caused them to get hurt. Okay. They're also making reference to the fact, especially if you've ever said to them or given them advice to do with life or love, or even the connection with you, they are taking that on board. They are considering it, and they do mull over those things. They do have that as their inner truth as well. Just sometimes it does aid to hear it from somebody else. They do want to jump in the deep end with you, but at times there is a reluctance. There is almost a feeling that they're very in the moment, maybe not saying the most obvious thing, maybe not responding right away. They're looking at the big picture of this. They are actually feeling as though they can see the full potential. Sometimes, I don't know why they're making reference to this, wanting to get away to an island. This could be a place that you've actually been to before together. This could be almost wanting to be on another planet. Some could have a home-related dynamic going on. This could be wanting to sell, wanting to shift, could be a family-related dynamic or accommodation. Again, when it does come to patterns, some of these individuals have noted that if they had been in very toxic connections, letting someone into their home, a little bit like the crab. I mean, we can see this individual sitting up in their shell. It needs to be safe. It needs to be sheltered. They're like, okay, I'm being more selective now of who I'm letting in my door. Yeah, and again, going back to old patterns and old habits of once burnt, twice shy. This could have counterpart with karmic relationships very closed off. Some of them have had a dispute with this individual. And again, I'll say it every week. Doesn't have to be a romantic person. Okay, something that has gone on for a long time. I feel the connection between masculine and feminine has been a long-standing one. I do feel you tempt them to be their more authentic self. But what I'm saying here is, especially this person, after they're really making reference to after a storm, they are opening up. They've wanted this for ever so long with you, but they're having moments where they're slipping backwards. Now, I don't think it's remaining that way. And I think this person is very conscious of this. They're trying to take a moment to gain their bearings. They do know this is a slippery slide. And once they're on that train, there's no going back. And I really see this person, in this outcome card looking out going, I'm holding on for grim death here because once I go down that slide, there's no coming back. And they know that. It's not something they don't want. It's just they're trying to get their bearings. They're very disbelieving. At times, they may not receive compliments very well. So cautious. So cautious. Yeah, definitely underappreciated. I do feel the firm energy of divine feminine within this thread. I do feel if you can give this person some space as they're transitioning, it's going to aid in the connection flowing faster. I do feel they are gaining the inner trust of who they are so they can open up to you. They're really not making a reference to you are a problem as per se. They do know this is to do with them getting into that positive vibe after a very dark time. And look, even if this separation had happened a very long time ago, I'm definitely seeing patterns being re-triggered by the reconnection, by the thought of the connection, but they're moving beyond the wound. They're very, very aware of this. I do feel for those of you in communication, if you've had some misunderstandings and the person's become quiet, I do feel an apology coming through. I do feel an attitude shift and change. I do feel someone needing a break from work or a break from the mundane. Definitely making reference that divine feminine. They're trying to consolidate things together. They're also making reference to the fact that you can't do the work for them. It's them doing it. Not to be so hard on yourself, not to underestimate yourself. I do feel some communication coming, especially for those of you that aren't in communication. Some of you, again, this could be simply some gossip, but definitely we do have the messenger here. Again, this can be breaking down the reasons why everything got to where it was. This also can be a statement piece of what the karmic relationship did to them. Feeling underappreciated with the circumstance. They're catching their breath. I do think this is turning about. I do think, especially after the eclipse, they've really lost their bearings. This could even be retreating away from friends. Oh, that jumped. Yeah. Yeah, this is an ending. They also may have had some sudden news that was quite shocking. This could have been around a family member, a friend, but it does feel that it was something not so great. So after that factor, they're really getting into that Zen space, knowing their patterns and habits, intellectually thinking about how to communicate this to tell you what's gone down. Love and light. I will see you next week for the update. If you do want a private reading, you can go to the link below. Otherwise, if you are wanting this content early ahead of the crowd, you can join a YouTube membership. We also provide coaching and more.